He hit my grandma. The child cried. The bikers parked right outside his door. The little boy stood trembling on the street corner, clutching a torn teddy bear and wiping his tears. He hit my grandma. He whispered to the tattooed bikers who had just pulled up beside him. The leader, a tall man with a scar under his eye, froze. Around him, engines went silent. No one spoke for a moment until he growled, "Subscribe my channel, Emoshalum." Who did? The boy pointed toward a small, broken house at the end of the lane. The man's jaw tightened. They weren't just bikers, they were brothers of the road. Men who protected those with no one else to stand up for them. And tonight, someone was about to learn what that really meant. What started as a child's cry for help was about to turn into a lesson the whole town would never forget. It was a quiet evening in a small, forgotten town. The sun had barely set when the rumble of motorcycle engines echoed through the empty streets. The brothers of the road weren't a gang. They were a group of ex-soldiers and mechanics who spent their weekends helping the elderly and rescuing kids from the darker corners of the city. But that night, their peace ride took a sudden turn. At the edge of the town, they spotted a young boy, barefoot, shaking, and holding a stuffed bear missing one eye. He was standing in front of a grocery store, crying softly. "Hey, kid, you okay?" asked the biker leader, Jack, taking off his helmet. The boy hesitated, looking up with red, swollen eyes. "He hit my grandma. He hit her and locked her inside." Jack's smile vanished. "Who?" The boy pointed toward a narrow alley. "Her landlord. He said we couldn't pay rent anymore." Jack looked at his brothers, men who had seen war, loss, and injustice, and saw the same fire light up in every face. Without another word, they mounted their bikes. The engines roared like thunder as they followed the boy to a decaying building. At the end of the lane, the smell of smoke and cheap alcohol filled the air. Behind a broken window, they could see movement, a shadow pacing back and forth. Jack turned to the boy and said gently, "Stay here, son. We'll take care of this." When they walked up to the door, it slammed open and a large man stumbled out, holding a bottle. "What do you want?" he barked. Jack's eyes darkened. "We're here because you hit someone who can't defend herself." The man laughed mockingly. "That old lady? She's a burden. Maybe if she paid rent." He never finished the sentence. The bottle slipped from his hand as Jack took one slow step forward, his brothers forming a line behind him. The man's confidence drained when he saw the line of bikers standing shoulder to shoulder. Tattoos, leather vests, and eyes that had seen far worse than him. Jack didn't raise his voice. He didn't need to. "Where is she?" "In there," the man muttered, pointing inside the house. Two bikers rushed in, finding the old woman bruised but conscious, sitting on the floor beside a broken chair. Her hand trembled as she looked up. "Is this my grandson safe?" "Safe and waiting outside," one biker reassured her when they helped her out. The little boy ran to her, wrapping his arms around her waist. "Grandma." The biker stood silently as the boy cried in her arms. Then Jack turned back to the man. "You think you can treat people like that and no one will stop you?" The man stuttered. "You can't just..." Jack interrupted. "We're not here to fight. We're here to teach." He pulled out his phone, recording everything. "You're going to apologize to her, in front of everyone. Then you're going to pay her back every cent you took, or the world will know exactly who you are." The man looked terrified. "Please, don't." Jack's voice cut like steel. "Do it." Moments later, the man was on his knees, apologizing to the old woman as Jack live streamed to thousands of viewers. The comments exploded with support. "Justice served. Respect to the bikers." When it was done, Jack turned off the camera and said softly, "You got two choices now, be better. Or next time, we won't talk." Days later, the video had gone viral. Reporters flooded the small town. Donations poured in for the boy and his grandmother. People from across the country sent messages thanking the bikers for standing up. Where the system failed, Jack and his crew never took credit. They didn't need fame, only justice. The grandmother, now recovering, told the local paper. "They didn't just save me, they restored my faith in humanity." The boy had a new name for them, My Angels with Bikes. When Jack came by to check on them one last time, the boy handed him his teddy bear. "For when you meet another kid who needs help," he said. Jack smiled, placing the bear on his bike's handlebar. As they rode away, engines thundering once more, Jack looked at his brothers and said, "Every road has its darkness. We just carry the light." The boy and his grandma waved as the bikes disappeared into the horizon, the sound of hope echoing long after they were gone. If this story moved you, share it to remind others. Heroes don't always wear capes, sometimes they ride bikes. Follow for more powerful stories that prove kindness still rules the road.